Can you imagine looking into the eyes of someone who you've known your entire life and it's not even them? That you look into their eyes and it's as if they have no soul. This person that you've known your entire life and have tried tirelessly to change and to help them, but there's nothing you can do no matter what you do. Now, this person who is acting a stranger to you can oftentimes get violent with you. And more families than you know have had to deal with this actual issue. And this issue of dealing with a mental disability. Some do try to seek help to better themselves. Some wait most of their lives until maybe it's too late. Some of them go their entire lives without seeking any medical attention. And to say that I know a little bit about this mental disability is quite an understatement. Not me personally, but someone who I know very close to home has actually had to deal with this situation as well as continuing to deal with the situation. So the purpose of my speech, guys, is to talk to you about the causes and effects of schizophrenia. Today, I want to talk to you about the genetics taking a role, the environment triggering such episodes, how a person with schizophrenia may act or look, and how this disease can cause a person to build bridges with their family members and friends. And so the first way to pinpoint if a person actually does have schizophrenia is by knowing their background. So does anyone in their family have it? Or can there have been a significant change that could have been stressful enough for this person to have a mental breakdown? So according to Search for Missing Schizophrenia Genes by Kiran Kumar, he has collectively said that logically de novo genomic changes of immediate effect will involve structural variations, including transpositions, while epigenomic changes may begin with DNA. So although small, genes actually do take a role in a person's genotype, as discussed in general biology that everyone does know, is if the alleles are dominant or recessive. Now, just to recap on that, is if it's capital or lowercase r. It just depends on what a person is going to end up with, like their specific trait. So that is to say if it's dominant or recessive. And consequently, a person can go through a significant life experience that can trigger these symptoms, such as a person close to home dying or a series of people actually dying. So in my case, this specific family member had 3 people die within the first 6 months. Super hectic. She was so very personal with them. She loved them very much, and to have that happen to you within 6 months is really, really tragic. And so another way to pinpoint if a person is schizophrenic is how they look or how they act. Now, as said by Charles and Sigmund in their research article, showing functioning was extensively related to general intelligence, basic neurocognition, facial emotion cognition, and clinical symptoms with different association patterns. Now, depending on a person's facial expressions, they can show that they are neutral, which is not showing any emotions at all. It's just a straight face. Their facial expressions can also show anger and panic as well. A person can be paranoid. The person can also hear voices and speak rapidly, can show mental confusion. And from personal experience, a certain family member was very paranoid that someone was following her. She would try to get me to take pictures of people's actual license plates because she felt as if they were following her everywhere she went. She wasn't secure in where she was. She also likes sleep. So what I mean by this is that sometimes she wouldn't even come home. She would come home the next day. She would take a little power nap and she would just get up and go. And she was also triggered very easily, especially because I was always with her, and it took a toll. and she didn't eat much as well. So what I mean by this is she would have like a little snack. People with schizophrenia tend to be on the go. They feel as if they need to get certain things accomplished within a day, and eating is not their number one priority. So lastly, a friendship or a family member relationship will be affected by this. They will try to burn bridges with them. So in many cases, a person with this disorder can burn bridges with anyone in their life, especially if that person isn't going to seek help. So just remember that that person with this mental disability isn't who they actually are. It's just this chemical imbalance which is causing them to act out a certain way. So as said by R. Putty, the present study has shown that family members with patients with schizophrenia experience considerable high degree of family burden compared to depressive disorder group. Now, some family members feel as if taking constant care is too life-draining, and that's just a no for them. They can't do it. It's too stressful. It takes over their personal life, and they choose to go out and to leave. And so outrageous behaviors such as causing scenes in public can cause people to veer away as well. So they can be triggered very easily with their anger. They can yell loudly and try to communicate with different people, just cause a scene in general, which obviously isn't a great thing. And consequently, burning these bridges can cause a person to go and seek attention elsewhere. Whether it's positive or negative, 9 out of 10, it is going to be negative. A person is going to try to grab whatever attention they can. So you have to make sure that you are patient enough with them to try to stick it out if you can. And ultimately, you do have to remember that a person with schizophrenia, it's not them. And it's not their intentions to do so. So in conclusion, guys, the purpose of my speech was to inform you about the causes and effects of schizophrenia. And I have properly informed you ways that it can take place, which is their genes or environment changings that can cause this disorder to trigger, how a person with schizophrenia may act or look, and the effects of it actually on their friends and their family. And so I can confidently say to you guys that I was able to talk about this topic because I have learned the causes and effects firsthand with dealing with schizophrenia. And if you do happen to see someone who has this mental disorder or know of anyone with this mental disorder, I strongly encourage you to call the police, call 911, and ask them to get a psychological evaluation. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's a process where police officers will go and get that person, try to get them as calm as they can. Oftentimes, it's not the case. They will take them into this facility and try to look at their chemical imbalances. And they're going to try to pinpoint them. I mean, usually this takes about 24 hours to do so. Now, I also want to tell you guys that there are many other ways a person can show signs, of which I have only discussed with you a few. So please do not come to the conclusion that a person is schizophrenic. It's as if you're taking a psychology class for a semester and all of a sudden you think you're a professional. Guys, please leave it up to professionals to decide this. This person might actually be having a really bad day and you don't want to mess with them. So remember to leave it up to the professionals to decide.